Evanesia just really likes to use her idols. Don't know why. Don't know what's the reason for that. She really likes her idols. Please go. Hello and welcome, guys. We are back into Honkai Star Rail, and today we are on the yearly recap of what I still would like to consider HSR's luckiest free-to-play account this year. While very lucky, has not ended as lucky as one would have hoped, but I still had a lot of luck. Obviously, I waited to post this video and to do this recording until I was able to finally get Evanesia. And that way I can kind of use the narrative of, like, you know, what I saved, what I planned, all of that stuff. I can explain that a lot more with not the mind of like, oh, I will go for Evanesia back when the anniversary happened, but rather with the mindset of, well, now I have Evanesia, what is next for the account? Because we will talk about that when we get there. But we need to start where we left off last year. Last year, we left on Fugu. I just got her. I didn't have any break characters or anything like that. I just got her because I thought she was pretty. I thought her mechanic was a bit unique. I thought maybe if at some point I'll go for a Rapariran, she will be a nice to have. And maybe even to a certain extent, sometimes to brute force a bit of like Apocalyptic Shadow back in the day when that was possible. I'm pretty sure I did actually use her one time to clear with a combination of Ron May and Aglaya to be able to clear one of them. But yeah, she was definitely a niche pick that I just went for because of the character and less because of what she offered to my account. And in continuing that trend, I snagged myself a Herda. As you can see, I was very hopeful that I will be able to go for a Rapariran, and yep, I did win my 50-50. Let's go over what my Herda did for my account. The answer is unfortunately not all that much. By that time, again, thankfully, I already had my E1 Tribi, but even with the combination of E1 Tribi and with the fact that I do have Jade on my account, which is a generally pretty good support for her, or at least I would like to think. I'm seeing most people use Argenti, Anaxa, and Mini Herda with her a lot of the time, so maybe I'm wrong with that. But I liked her. Obviously, she has been very, very good for me in pure fiction. She has been very solid, consistently getting either 40k, somewhere between 35 if she's like not performing all that well in like the recent one, to getting consistent 40ks. And she has been very good for that. She has been very good for some niche bosses in Anomaly. I had a clear with her, I used her there. In obviously Apoc, some of the bosses there are pretty good for her, mainly like, you know, the Banana Amusement or the Ron May boss, the Stingray one. And obviously a bit in MOC, but she has not been all that great for her because especially with E1 Tribi, you do want that AoE for her to be able to be really, really good. But generally, I have enjoyed her. Again, I generally like the design. I like the kit. I like kind of the character. My favorite part about her probably is that I've been able to cheese away the ability to still use Fushwan as a character with her as a sustain, because she doesn't need that much sustaining. She usually gets her kills relatively fast, specifically on the game modes where I use her and the content that she's good in. So I've been relatively satisfied with her, even though I pulled her on a rerun, and even though AoE obviously is not as great as an option, the fact that I had E1 Tribi just made her a very easy pick for my account. Next up, we immediately followed by getting Hyselins, and thankfully for me, I got very lucky. I got me Hyselins and immediately lost my 50-50. So I had basically a guarantee, which obviously allowed me to immediately go for another Hyselins. I managed to lose another immediate 50-50 on, so I had a guarantee for the next banner as well. So the Hyselins banner, ridiculous luck for me. 2 50-50 losses in like 2 PD. Ridiculously good. I will take that any day, you know. Would be more satisfying obviously to just get the 50-50 win, but still, you can't complain about this if I'm being honest. I was very satisfied with that. I was very happy. I even got it early, so I was feeling very good about these pulls. So let's go over Hyselins. Obviously getting very lucky, obviously me having the extra pulls to go for that E1, massive for my account. The moment that I got her, they already had the Kafka buffs. Like Kafka was already kind of becoming a pretty niche support. Like the Dot archetype kind of like revived itself with the Kafka buffs and was already like doing surprisingly so much better in terms of endgame content even without Hyselins. Adding E1 Hyselins to that was busted. She was really good for me. Obviously, immediately launching Dot to be the best team on my account, and immediately with the addition of a different character, obviously enabling me to have a very powerful team for a lot of the anomaly related things and a lot of the kings as well in anomaly. And generally, she has just been very nice for me. I've basically been using my Dot team everywhere. They're really good everywhere, so I have been a lot of fun with that. But again, my luck has essentially enabled me to go for that E1 relatively comfortably. After that, it was kind of a dead version. I wasn't too interested in the new character. Daniel was obviously free, and I wasn't too interested in Evernight, and I saw the drip marketing for Seirini. So I obviously went for Seirini, and I got another double. I did get E1 Seirini. I did not have that one activated for a while, but I did have it. And as you can see, these were my polls in that half-year span between the video and between half a year later, right? Seirini, obviously, so many people doom posted her on her release for some reason, and I cannot figure out why. It's like you have characters, you have supports, you know, not naming anyone, but you have support that works specifically for maybe like 3 DPSs, but mainly just for 2 DPSs where they're really good with, you know? And then you have Seirini, who has like 5 or 6 different DPSs that they're really good with. Granted, these DPSs are limited to the recent cast that we got in Amphorios, which theoretically should be power crept, right? But that's a lot of characters that you are directly supporting. Not a generally support, a direct support. That means that you have specific buffs that will make that character very good. I don't really get why she got so doom posted, but obviously, I saw her, I was like, ooh, very pretty character, very important lore-wise, I want to get her. So I did, and yeah, to say she was an improvement is an understatement. My Aglaya team became really good. Add that to the additional Daniels that we got for free. Made my teams really good. She was added to my Dot team, especially back then. Black Swan was kind of like falling behind in terms of her damage. Being able to use like Daniel and Seirini plus Kafka with Hyselins was such a nice combo to be able to output a lot. It took a while for you to be able to get your ult, but once you did, it was basically game over. Like the amount of damage that Hyselins would do on her skill would be insane. So that was like a really fun part. That enabled me to clear a lot of the king bosses for Anomaly, and I was very satisfied with that. So yeah, Seirini has been a really good pull. She has been obviously been really used for me. We will get to her later, surprisingly enough, because there was an addition to her and what she has been able to do on my account. But for now, that was kind of her role on release, and I was very happy with that. Next up, we are going through some complications. And what do I mean by complications? I saw the drip marketing for Dahlia. Obviously, if you don't know, she was teased like 2 years ago or something like that, back in early Penacony, and I obviously really liked her design then, but I didn't expect that we would actually ever get her as a playable character at the time after, you know, the events of Penacony. So to see her actually being released as a playable character, I was like, yes, please. Obviously, she's in a Hillidy unit. I was like, I will pull regardless of if she has a role on my account. Obviously, I did get her. As you saw, I got her in 20 polls as well. Again, I got ridiculously lucky. I was coming fresh off the Seirini double poll, so getting like not only like a 50-50 win on Seirini that had like 2 PD on it or something like that, also getting Dahlia so early was massive. My thought process when I was pulling her was, if I get Dahlia, if I get Fugu, and I already had Fugu, I will have a really good core to be able to kind of brute force any Apoc Shadow, because, you know, you just have a thing that enables Super Break, you have both of them that enable Super Break, both of them can help any DPS be able to break anything. So my thought process that they would be really good as a kind of like break wheelchair combo. They didn't. Simply put, they didn't. I was very happy to just get her on my account and very happy with how she looked, but I wasn't all that satisfied with her performance, which forced me to do something that I thought I would never do before. I pulled for Firefly. I caved in. I'm sorry. Firefly was one of the anniversary units. If you know my account, you looked at my account. I don't generally go for an anniversary unit unless they like have something specific in mind. I'm not too big of a fan of the complete over-the-top animation, and I wasn't all that much of a fan of how Firefly, instead of being this big Stellaron hunter that has like a robot form and is like really cool, was kind of just used as like this girlfriend character for our main character. I thought it was kind of like just bait for like, you know, the incel type of audience. So I wasn't a big fan of that, and that's why I didn't pull for her. I caved in. I'm a meta slave. What can I do? Sometimes I pull for meta, and Firefly was exactly that. I already previously had farmed this piece for her. I had it. I joked that I have like a perfect Firefly build if I ever get her, so it didn't feel as bad to get that one. I don't have really any investment on her other than just getting her, but with the combination, the fact that I already had Dahlia, I already had Fugue, I already had E1 Ron May, with her Lightcon as well. Yeah, she was ridiculously good for me immediately. I never realized how much APOC was so break-related until I had Dahlia with Firefly, and I realized how laughable some of the content in APOC is when you have a break team. She has been really good there. She has been really good in a lot of other endgame content. Obviously, they have been shilling her a lot for some reason, still even after her release and even after like Dahlia rerun. A lot of anomaly content, obviously MOC, she doesn't care. Even some pure fictions, sometimes, not always, and obviously APOC, she's been massive for that one. Generally, I have been satisfied with it from a meta perspective. One of the few reruns that I went for that didn't immediately let me down like a patch or two later, and the way that I was able to do that is because I got very lucky on her banner as well. I won another 50-50, like this is my third 50-50 win in a row, and it was super early as well. So by that point, we're looking at the extended 3.0 version, right, that gave you a massive amount of pulls purely by the fact that it was extended, really. And you look at the fact that I just got two really good characters and I won my 50-50s, right? I didn't need to expend all that many pulls. I came into the version, I think, with 60 pulls that I immediately used for them, and the version itself, I think, gave over like 100 or something. So I had everything that I needed in a way. So moving in the version, it took a while, but then like when we finally got it, I saw a lot of the drip marketing that was related to the upcoming Plain Arcadia, the upcoming 4.0 version, and I wasn't all that high on it, to say the least. I wasn't all that excited to the characters that we got drip marketed, being Sparks and Yao Guang. I wasn't sure about the whole elation thing, so I really didn't want to put my eggs in that basket, but by that point I was stacking up a massive amount of pulls. And you know me, I'm very impulsive. I decided to go all the way to get Saber. Saber is an unfortunate case. Already on release, she was being made fun of for being the less good DPS in comparison to Archer, who was given for free. And to me, I pulled her purely not for the sake of the character or for the collabs. Unfortunately, I'm not the biggest Fate head out there. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a hypocrite, but I just had the pulse. I already previously had spent 20 pulse on the Fate banner on the Saber, trying to get her early. I didn't get anything, and by the time we were approaching the end of the version, I already amassed enough pulse to be able to get her guaranteed. And I figured I may as well go for it, because I know that I'm not going for anything new in 4.0, so I may as well just try to get Saber, basically guarantee getting her, because I had enough pulls to do that, and I'll be done with it, because I don't know when they want to remove the Fate banners. I know that they're still up right now, I know that they said that they are extended for a while, but I really don't know until when that happens, and by this point I don't know what the future of the game will look like in terms of pulls for me, but I know that I have enough to guarantee her now, so I will go for it. I didn't get lucky at all. I reached pity on both and I lost my 50-50, but you know, a character is a character. I was still able to get her. At some point when I reached like 70 pulls, I did singles because there was no reason for me to further invest into that banner. But that did leave me with a 10 pull. A 10 pull and a banner that was coming to an end soon. And with the teasing of my friends, they were like, well, I mean, you know, there's a certain character that you're interested in that's currently on a rerun. May as well, like, you know, you have just 10 pull. Fucking throw it, you know, your account is ridiculously lucky. Throw that 10 pull, maybe you'll get something. And I did. I did get something. Welcome, Linksha. Linksha was a sad case. Obviously, while I did get her in one 10 pull, Linksha by this point has no place in the meta. On her release, she was really good as like this kind of weird combo of like crit break DPS with the release of Sunday, but on her rerun, she doesn't offer anything. While she does have the ability to break really nicely in AoE, she's too skill point hungry for a Firefly team, and she's like weirdly attack scaling, but she's a defensive unit and she wants to break as well, but she doesn't have that much break scaling. She is just very weird, and her damage is no longer there after she has been power crept for so long. I pulled her mainly for looks. In theory, I thought that maybe having a sustain unit on my break team would be nice, but after testing her I immediately realized that sustainless is better, and I'm much better off investing in the team for sustainless rather than have any hopes of her being good in a sustain team, because A, she's not sustaining all that well, and B, the difference in performance is insane. Like the comparison is like the difference between like getting 6 or 5 cycles in MOC compared to like 1 or 2 cycles with sustainless. Yes, it's okay, but like you lose so much that it doesn't feel good to play that. So immediately she wasn't that great of an addition, but I still liked her design, I still like her looks, I was still very satisfied. I got her for so cheap as well. I was very happy with it. I still try to use her a bunch now. I use her sometimes with my Herda, in chambers where they give me a bunch of skill point packs, because god no, Herda is already like ridiculously skill point hungry. She has been just an okay addition. I've been happy to have her, but she has not been really all that useful in terms of endgame content for me and stuff like that. Next up was the end of the version. I tried my best. I threw a bunch of whatever remaining pulls I had on Aglaya to see if I can get something early. Unfortunately, I didn't. But that led me to the next one. Again, as I said, I wasn't all that excited going into the next banners of Yao Guang and Sparksy, but there was a banner I was excited about specifically for one reason. Up until that point, I had my E1 Seirini, which I have not activated because it was not any useful in any of my teams. I figured I may as well push 50-50 on Evernight. I didn't know much about her at the time because my intention obviously coming into her original banner was to hard skip, but I decided to still go for her anyway, just because I had the knowledge that generally she should be good with Seirini, and I already have E1 Tribi as well, so the combination of all of them plus Warhorse should be fine to be able to carry some endgame content stuff for me, or at least should make it so that way E1 Seirini doesn't feel bad. What I found out though is I was very wrong. Evernight is this weird combination where she is kind of her own DPS, but also she likes to buff everyone else. And all that meant, if you have a sustain, if you have Warhorse there, because I don't have Hyacinth, if you have her there, the team is just going to be okay. And okay is fine, but you know, again, meta save, okay will fall off eventually, right? But the fun team was to put RMC there and go sustainless. In AoE scenario, especially Pure Fiction, this team is crazy. I've been having so much fun spamming Evernight Seirini in Pure Fiction and seeing them just drop such ridiculous numbers that you wouldn't expect. Again, the previous use of my Seirini was just as a support on Aglaya or like, you know, sometimes in my Dot team, right? So I was very satisfied with that because it introduced a fun element to the game that I hadn't experienced in a while. Initially, I wasn't all that happy with that pull. I was like, oh, it's just kind of okay. But after a while, after getting more testing done, I was very satisfied. And again, I do still quite like her design. I do think she is very pretty. I obviously story lores and stuff like that, so why not? A really good addition. I've been enjoying this one as well. Next up, I'm sorry, the Faded Rappa banner. It came at such a bad timing. I had enough pulls to go for a 50-50, but there was no reason for it. I'm sorry, like Evanescence was right around the corner. There is no reason for me to ever go all the way in on Rappa when Evanescence is right there. So I'm sorry Rappa, maybe on your next rerun. But I did have some extra pulls during that time, and I did use these pulls to snag myself a Hycelin's Lightcon. So yes, my Hycelin's does have her signature Lightcon, which is very nice because I was rather not satisfied with the performance of Eyes of Prey on them. Surprisingly enough, I always thought that Eyes of Prey was okay, but no, it wasn't. I got her pretty good, relatively early. So I'm very satisfied with that. Again, for those counting at home, that was 5 50-50 wins in a row. And the time has come for me to finally lose a few. Going into our final character and our final addition. Yeah, this was a long time coming. Any fan of the channel will know my tag for years have been just waiting for a Yae variant. Every time there were any rumors or anything like that about an upcoming Yae or something like that, I was immediately like, oh, okay, you caught my attention. And obviously I saved up a lot, right? There's a reason why I didn't go to even attempt a 50-50 on Rappa, and that was because I intended to go all the way, and I did. I got myself E2, I got myself S1, and I got the girl herself. Now, I don't have all of her team, obviously I might have to go for Yao Guang on upcoming reruns whenever that happens, but until that happens, I have her. She has been very good, obviously E2, massive. So good. The combination of S1 plus E2 makes her gameplay feel so fluid and so fun that I've been having a lot of time just wrecking all endgame with her. I've been very satisfied with that. Obviously, unfortunately, my luck on her banners have not been all that great. It was okay. We did get to PD a couple times, we did get an early 50-50 win, we did get a very early 50-50 loss, but all it did is require me, and with the combination of her own weapon banner, I needed to shelve out a resource that I have been saving for a while. For those who don't know, ever since day one, there is whale dust. I currently have 4,000, almost 200 pulls, right? I have been saving this resource since day one. Up until now, I have used only 50 of them, back when I got Fei Zhao and back when I got E1 Tribi. I have used 140 of them to be able to get E2S1. So again, I still got very lucky, I didn't need to use all of them, but I still have a lot of resources here left. Where will I use them? I honestly don't know. My goal was to get a really good Evanesia, and I got a really good Evanesia. So they will kind of sit here. I will see what will happen with them. Maybe at some point I'll have enough that I can just go for like E6 Evanesia or something. But until then, I think they will continue to collect dust on my account. Obviously, this is a bad time to do it, but with the clip from the start, this account obviously has still been completely free to play. This account has still been riding along, not spending any money really or anything like that. So take that as you will. This is kind of the state for my account right now. Again, I don't really see the characters that I'm kind of in the more watch out for are obviously the Yao Guang Griran. Elation MC has been a massive disappointment for me. I don't like him at all, if I'm being honest. And I know that Yao Guang is not all that better, but I'm hoping that she'll be enough better to the point where I don't need to use him and maybe I can go back to RMC. And obviously after that, there is Nihilox. We have been teased about her as well. When will she release? What she will do? I have no idea, but I will likely try to attempt to get her as well. Big caveat just released. We just got the drape marketing for the new Himeko. I did not think it would happen already. Took me so long to edit this video. I think she's ridiculously pretty, really cool. I will probably skip, if I'm being honest. I don't know, I probably will not have the pulse. I will probably try to push 50-50 if I can, but that's, I feel like, the extent of it. Depends on whatever reruns happen in the next couple versions. I think I have a lot of priority for them, rather than for whatever Himeko SP can happen. With that though, this is the end for my yearly account recap. This has been going on for a while. There had just been so many different characters in different times in this account where I went for so many different things. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that my luck will remain the way that it has been this year. And I'll see you next year. We'll wait for her big summon. I'll see you next time. Until then, bye.